Okay, so here are some of the tips that I have for anyone trying to complete the Punisher Part 4, where you have to kill 10 PMCs on Lighthouse while wearing a balaclava and a scav vest. So I will be going through each of the spawns of the map and talk about the strengths and weaknesses of the spawns. I will start with the southernmost spawn, the red one, right here. And for this one, I would advise you to go slightly uphill. You have a bunch of trees that you can lay into, and you will have a great line of sight on the southern road rock. There are two spots that you have to look out for. One right here, that is very obvious, and another one right on the left, on the right side, sorry, where people can climb into. They will be slightly less visible, but it's a very common spot for the green spawn. You just have to be careful for the side tunnel spawn that can come to you, and the green spawn who can flank you through the coast. So for the green spawn, I would actually advise you to try this flank, because you have a bunch of rocks right here that you can climb into and have a great line of sight on the red spawn. You can also try to go up the rock, but I would not advise you to go for the road because this is very common and everyone will be expecting that. Instead, you could be on the lookout for the orange spawn, for which I would advise you to go along the rock through the helicopter, along the rock again, and wait here just a little bit, because you will most likely catch off the green spawn who will be climbing up the rocks, maybe watching for the road. If you do not see anyone while you're waiting here, you can go slightly further. You will have an angle on a sort of ravine that's going through here. And again, if you don't see anyone, you can cross the ravine and will have a line of sight on the top of side tunnel where some people may try to lay down, or on the road, but I would not advise you again to stay here for too long. If you have the cyan spawn, I would advise you to go behind the scav extract along the coast and then behind this rock. You will have a great line of sight on the red spawn, on the flank from the green spawn, on the top of the rock, and for the side tunnel spawn as well. Just be careful for the beach because the black spawn may be trying to go to you, or even the brown spawn maybe might have a line of sight when you are right along the coast, just like that. Once you're on the rock, you have just a great line of sight, and all of these spawns can go right to Southern Road for a very short raid. If you have the side tunnel, then you will just have to pray. You can try to go onto the road, pick off the red spawn, but you will have everyone collapsing onto you at the very beginning of the raid. So I would just advise you to go into side tunnel, just hide for maybe 10 minutes, and then you can go along the rock, maybe pick off the remainings of a fight, but try to extract very early on, because this spawn will not lead into anything very interesting. Maybe you could try to go up the road right here, but the blue spawn might be watching for you, the black spawn as well. So this spawn is very difficult to handle. If you have the black spawn, I would advise you to go on top of this intermediate rock, because the bronze spawn will have a line of sight on you very early on. The blue spawn may be pushing you through the beach, so just climb onto the rocks. You have one or two spots where you are very well hidden from the beach, but on the contrary, you are very visible from the eastern side of the map. You could try to look for people climbing to the tennis court or maybe on top of the side tunnel. You might see the orange spawn if you're fast enough, who might be running to the chalet. But if you do not see anyone, just try to hide because everyone from the southern side will be coming to you, uh, be it through the beach or the road, and you will have to either hide from them or pick them off guard. If you have this red spawn, you should try to go to the blue houses. You will maybe see the pink spawn. If you don't, you can try then to go to the main house and try to look for the road, the sniper nest on top of the road, maybe the black spawn coming to the road, trying to flee the brown spawn. And you will have a great line of sight on the middle of the map right here. You just have to be careful for maybe the pink spawn pushing you or the orange spawn coming to the main house. If you have the brown spawn, this is the wrong house actually. You should try to go into this one, go to the window, of the bedroom. Do not go into the very large window right here because everyone will see you. You can peek through the door of the bedroom and have a line of sight on the beach. This gives you much more cover than if you were at the full height window right here. You try to look for the black spawn or maybe the blue spawn coming onto the beach. If you do not see anyone, you have to be careful that maybe the red or the black spawn are going into the sniper nest. They will have a line of sight on you if you are below them, right here. And you also have to be careful that the black spawn could be going through the rocks and then onto the cars right here. And if they're coming here, you are most likely being caught into the houses. And if you have to hide maybe like for a three or four man squad, then you can go into the underground. There is like a pier with boats. No one ever checks there. You will most likely be safe from anyone pushing you if you have a sniper. And just be careful from anyone coming from here and do not go too far onto the beach because the rogues will be shooting to you. If you have the pink spawn now, I would advise that you go for one of these easy spots because you will be able to pick the yellow guy right of the spawn or maybe the red guy if he tries to go onto the main road. You will also have a line of sight on the two blue houses, which is a great spot, but just be careful that the yellow guy can push you in your back. Most of the times, not many people check these spots early on in the raid, but maybe after 10 minutes or something, when people are into place, they will be able to look for you. So you do not have to stay there very long, and then you should maybe try to rotate, just like the yellow spawn, for which I would advise you to either push the pink spawn or go through past to shoreline and try to catch these spawns on the northern side of the map. Once you're here, you can have a lookout on this village right here. You could also try to have a look on the lake, maybe of the remainings of a fight of these two guys. But that's pretty much it for the yellow spawn. You are pretty safe very early on, and you even have right here a small hiding spot. There is a rock and a tree right next to it, and you can crouch behind this rock and pick the pink spawn if he tries to go all the way down. Most of the times he will be sprinting, and you will be able to catch him off guard. If you have the purple spawn now, I would advise that you do not stand right at your spawn, but either you go onto the left side of this big rock where you have much more cover or slightly onto the right. I would advise you go behind this rock because you will have a better angle and you have a lot of cover if the blue spawn sees you. Then if you have the blue spawn, you should not stay at your spawn. Once again, you should try to go on the left side when you spawn. There is a slope right here on which you will have a better line of sight, or you could try to hide on the right side of the spawn. You have a lot of rocks right here, and you can hide, literally just stand behind these rocks, and if the purple spawn pushes you, he will be passing by, not even checking this angle. It's a free kill basically. If nothing happens on this side and you do not want to push this area, then you can go all the way alongside the lake, behind the rocks, and right here you have a lot of camping spots to have a lookout on the water treatment plant. Basically behind these rocks or these rocks, you have a great line of sight on these two roofs. This roof is much more difficult to look for because there is a lot of cover from your angle. And I would advise then you stay in the raid for much longer. You try to pick some PMCs going through the camp or on the roofs, and then you try to go for the car that's the safest extract, maybe the train if it's very late. But that's pretty much it for the blue spawn. I would advise that in general you try to stay for 7 minutes, not much more, unless you have northern spawn or you have a very large fight on the southern side of the map. Also, if you are going for Southern Road, there is one or two things to note. First, there are caches in the area. This one I've never hit, so I don't know where it is, but this one is on a small island. You will see there is a large island with a big rock and a small island with only one bush and a small rock. There is a cache in the bush. And then if you go all the way along the coast, there is another cache here below some trees. It's very easy to hit. You are pretty hidden from the camping spots of Southern Road, and then you can go to the extract. Just be careful right here. There is a small building basically where someone could be hiding. You would be impressed how many people are camping this spot. Some raids I've encountered people just waiting there for you, or maybe being caught when they hear you coming. I would advise that you go onto this side of the building, and there is a very small window here. You can look through it and you will see the guy. That's very small, so you will most likely hit all your shots, and it's very difficult to get out alive of this building. If you do not manage to kill him through the window, you should push the door because he will most likely try to get out and go around the building. Uh, Otherwise, if you do not want to fight, you can just run along the coast and you will be able to extract somewhere here. So that's pretty much it for Southern Road. One last thing, just be sure if you try to go to Northern Checkpoint that you have the extract, because there are some spawns where you will expect to have the extract, but you do not actually have it, and you end up having maybe 10 minutes to go through the entire map to go to past the shoreline. So yeah, just be careful for that. Try to do very short raids, 7 minutes to not have the run-through stages, and do not stay in for more than 20 minutes. That's most likely pointless unless you have a very good reason to stay in the raid.